Hi everyone, welcome back to Manda T and me, and welcome to a new kind of content. Some of you might be familiar with my little kitten Ripley, and in fact some of you might be more familiar with her than you are with me. Ripley was adopted September 20th from Community Cats Advocates through a wonderful foster. If you are in Central California or in the Northern Bay Area, I do recommend CCA. Ripley came to us vaccinated, spayed, and microchipped, which is kind of the most that cat parents can ever really hope for. But she also was already socialized, box trained, and her personality became quite apparent to us quickly. Her confidence and trusting really does speak volumes to the excellent care that she received when she was itty bitty. However, Ripley was born May 1st to a stray mama with two litter mates who look rather different from Ripley. She was the most petite, sporting a pretty fawn tabby coat, and she has a gray tabby sister and a cow-spotted brother. Cow spot is probably not the correct term, but that's what I'm going to use. The difference between her and her siblings isn't too uncommon. According to Cats Protection UK, a queen, also a unspayed female cat, can have kittens with multiple fathers due to a trait called, now I looked this up, don't judge me if I say it wrong, but super fecundation, or the presence of multiple eggs at once. So yeah, so you could have 3 litter mates all with different fathers. So yeah. Without knowing much about Ripley's parents, we wanted to be sure that we could learn as much about her DNA as possible. We purchased a BasePaws DNA and health screening kit. With the assistance of our veterinarian, we had Ripley swabbed and sent her specimen off for analysis. And it even says on the BasePaws website that if you have like a really wiggly cat, just take your BasePaws kit to your next vet appointment, and usually they're pretty happy just to give them a little swab while they're doing the rest of their stuff. So I have to say the last 2 months have been kind of nerve-wracking. What we have been told by her vet is that Ripley appears to be a happy, healthy kitten. She has no obvious health concerns. She's compliant with the veterinary staff, despite her general shyness, and she is quite shy. She has all her adult teeth. She has a very, very clean coat, and she has a great weight. At her first appointment, the vet expressed her belief that Ripley is going to be a very large cat, particularly a long one. Based on her overall body quality and level activity, the vet said she was a good weight at 9 pounds at 7 months old. She is 7.5 months now. So I just, for my peace of mind, I looked up what the average weight of a 7-month-old kitten should be. According to an agriculture blog called just Agric, a 7-month-old kitten should weigh between 6 and 10 pounds depending on breed, and they really vary. So, without any additional context though, we really have no idea what to expect of our furry little buddy. Thankfully, her BasePaw results have come in with quite a few surprises. So right out the gate, I just want to say that I can happily announce that Ripley is negative for all 42 genetic concerns that they test for. She is a carrier for a condition called coat dilution, which can result in like a black coat turning gray or an orange coat turning cream. Her oral health screening revealed that, well, we don't have to worry about like tooth reabsorption or some of the more funky like dental issues. She is at high risk for halitosis or smelly breath, so we just kind of have to keep an eye on that. But she does get a daily dental treat, and as much as I possibly can, I can get some toothpaste in there and her little teeth, but so far her teeth have been great at all her appointments, so we're just going to keep on keeping on for now. So all things considered, we are absolutely relieved. But what about all the breed stuff? I mean, that's like the pretty packaging that, you know, everybody wants to know about. And a lot of people have made speculations about Ripley and her kind of wild colored coat. We were pretty curious ourselves. So, what about the breed? Well, we love our little mutt of a cat, and she absolutely is a mutt. She's really gorgeous. She, like I said, she has that really exotic coat, and she has those big olive green eyes, like a big pair of Spanish olives. Absolutely gorgeous. She's very sweet. She's very shy, but she's also whip smart and active and mischievous. Her new favorite game to play is she'll hide behind the coffee table. And I know lots of cats will like swipe at your feet when you walk by, but she doesn't do it like real aggressively. She kind of like pets my feet, or she'll like try to hug onto my foot and then have me carry her along with me. So some people have speculated that Ripley may be part Bengal or Savannah because of her coat, her extremely long tail, and her what they're called scarab markings on her head, and just because she is super athletic and she is very playful. So, but those are very rare cats. So as far as we are concerned, she might be some kind of short hair mix, because we live in North America. That is the greatest possibility. So to us, our results were pretty shocking. Like most adopted cats, Ripley is mostly polycat, which means she's so mixed up we just don't know. And among that, she also is broadly Western, which again is not too different from saying polycat. So that's about half of her makeup is she's so mixed up we just don't know. And we're kind of happy about that, because that's probably why she's so healthy. So we're thankful for that. However, there are some specific breeds they were able to point out in smaller percentages. So let's go ahead and look at those. At 14%, her largest specific breed contributor is the Mainecoon. I know, we're shocked too. Like Mainecoons, these gigantic, fluffy cats with these huge, like, uppy ears with their, like, ear tufts. So yeah, my long-bodied, short-coated kitten is part Mainecoon, one of the largest breeds on the planet. And that's not the only large breed in her mix. She's also 8% Ragdoll, 5% Siberian, 5% British Shorthair, and 1% Norwegian Forest Cat. And of those, the British Shorthair is the largest. I didn't know that. While there are some huge outliers for Maine Coons, I think there's one that weighed like 30 pounds or more. British Shorthairs, on average, a female can weigh up to 17 pounds. Well, that's twice what she is now. So I'm pretty sure our vet should take her like speculation skills to Vegas, because like she looked at my cat and she was like, yeah, she's gonna be a big kitty. We think she's gonna be a long one. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then it turns out that Ripley has literally the biggest cat breeds in her DNA. Who would have, I mean, how do you know? A couple people have said to me that it looks like she has very big paws for her size. I don't know. I think they're just like cute little mittens, and I didn't really think anything of it. But now I'm like, maybe it's because she's not fully grown and she's going to be a big girl. So I don't know. Ripley kind of doesn't look like any of those. I'm going to mix in some gorgeous pictures of our girl, and then of course of some of the comparisons. So yeah, and of course, like, the British Shorthair kind of makes a little sense to us. She does have an unusually soft coat, and when I mean soft, I mean like bunny rabbit, like baby bunny rabbit soft. And even though it's very short and it doesn't really look like it since it's so glossy, it's actually very plush. It's very dense. So again, it's like having a bunny or a little chinchilla. She's just so soft and so incredibly touchable. She's also a very clean little cat, so I mean that does help, but she gets what I call like a dry bath once a week, where I use a waterless cleanser and a silicone brush to brush her out. It also helps get rid of some of the extra loose hairs that her daily brushing doesn't catch. So she's pretty tolerant of that. She doesn't love it, but generally if I put a little bit of like gravy treat and a line on a plate, she'll just sit there and be like, oh, I guess this is what we're doing now. So So again, the plushness is probably attributed to the British short hair because, like, yeah, the other big cats have really long hair, but they also have these like coarse guard hairs apparently. So they might be soft on the underside, but not on top. And she's like soft all over. So, probably one of the least surprising entries on her list is that she's 9% American Shorthair. Of course she is. We live in the US. It's the most common breed here. Like, of course she's an American Shorthair. But definitely to a lesser degree than some of the other things on this list, which I still find very, very shocking. And there probably is more in there. There's probably more American Shorthair in her broadly Western category, but for what we know for sure, is she's mostly American Shorthair, and they are basically the average Joes of the cat world. They're not too big, not too small, not too skinny, not too chunky. They're very, very chill but friendly, and they also come in a huge range of colors and patterns. And I have to say, when I was filling out the survey that goes with her BasePaws, I had a really hard time picking out her coat because she's like 30 different colors, but on her underside she's a color, I believe it's called fawn, so it's kind of like a warm beigey kind of dulce de leche sort of color. So, and of course the king of kings of American Shorthair coats is the huge variety of tabby coats. There's striped and mackerel and spotted and marble, and yeah, it's amazing. So, and that being said, I should probably point out at this point that for those of you who are less familiar with my cat, Ripley's coat has several really unique patterns and markings. From the very top, because she's a striped cat, tabby cat, there are two main kinds of markings that you find on their heads. One is like kind of an M shape. It's like whoop, whoop. It's very kind of a curvy M. But she doesn't have a complete M on her forehead. She has something called a scarab mark. And it looks like she has a little kind of beetle print on the front of her head. On all of her limbs and her very long lemur tail, she has these very dark, very distinct, crisp stripes. She has one like dark black stripe down her back, kind of towards her butt, and on her sides she has what's called marbling, and it's these like very swirly, almost like gemstone swirls. And then of course her entire underside is freckled, so of course she's fawn on the bottom, and then she has these black and very dark brown freckles. And I know that her skin is freckled because when she came to us she was still bald with a pink belly from her spay, and of course her belly's all freckled too. And then the most unusual, of course, is on her hips. She actually has leopard rosettes, and we thought that was really surprising. They didn't show up in her baby pictures, but by the time we got her at about 4 months old, she had these like formed leopard spots on her hips, and most people find those like to be the most curious, because you don't really find that on like your run-of-the-mill domestic cat. You can, but it's just not common. We always joke that it's like she stole the clothes off of like 4 or 5 other cats. And as a result, I have to say that this is not where her DNA story ends. It just gets a little more abstract. 1% of Ripley's DNA makeup is the Abyssinian cat, which I have to say, when I was a younger person, I always thought if I was going to have a cat, I'd have an Abyssinian. They're known for being kind of hypoallergenic, and they're very athletic. So yeah. The other thing that they have that's really special is they have ticked fur, which means that each individual hair isn't just like one color, and she does. All of her fur has these horizontal stripes top to bottom, and they're tipped with like the darkest color, which I think is really kind of cool. And like I said, Abyssinians are known for being really athletic and very smart and very mischievous. I'm like, oh, that's our girl. She like plays pranks on us and stuff. I've mentioned before, that she likes to do this thing where her favorite game is fetch, and we play fetch with her constantly all day. She wears this out, and what she'll do is, once the ball is down, if she doesn't catch it immediately, she'll like kind of hide behind something or peer around something and then go and pounce on it. And she started doing this thing where she'll like do the little butt wiggle and then like run up and like pretend that she's gonna pounce us, and then she stops short. She immediately stops short, and then she like walks away flicking her tail like, haha, I fooled you. So yeah, mischievous. So, and of course, the Abyssinian isn't the only exotic breed on her list either. She's also 3% Thai, which also used to be known as a Siamese. She's 2% PETERBALD, and they kind of look like a Sphinx. They don't have to be necessarily hairless, but they have a very, very short coat. Some of them are more like a really short pile velvet. And then not a huge surprise, but should be, she is 2% Egyptian Mau. So why is that important? Well, the Egyptian Mau is considered one of the rarest of the cat breeds. And again, we should be surprised, but we're not. The Egyptian Mau is one of the 3 exotics in the exotic category, the other 2 being the Bengal and the Savannah. What makes these breeds exotic is that at some point in the creation of those breeds, they incorporated wildcat DNA. If you want to learn a little bit more about like cool scientific research, the Bengal was kind of an oopsie doodle, and the Bengal is a mix of a domestic cat and an Asian leopard. And I believe it came as a result of medical research in the 70s or 60s. But look up the Bengal if you want to learn a little bit more about some just like really fun oopsie doodles research. And then of course the Savannah is actually a mix of a domestic cat with an African serval, which if I remember correctly, the African serval has the longest legs proportionate to the body of any like wild cat. And the Egyptian Mau, well, the Egyptian Mau is one of the oldest species, we think. Domesticated cats, or at least the beginning of domesticated cats, really started living in conjunction with humans about 10,000 years ago. Different from the wolf becoming the dog, where a lot of people think that like, oh, the dog came and decided to warm himself and traded, independence for the comfort of food and companionship with man, where cats and humans have a little bit more of have more parity in their relationship. Cats kind of came about because about 10,000 years ago, we started seeing the beginning of horticulture and very, very primitive agriculture. And of course, agriculture means grain means rodents, and rodents mean fleas and droppings, all things that can be very harmful to people. But then once you have rodents, you have cats. And cats they would become mousers. And in that way, we offered food and shelter to cats and protected them from bigger predators. And in return, they kept us healthy by keeping down the rat population. Unfortunately, somebody didn't pick up on that during times that eventually led to plague. There were certainly very specific times in history in which cats were considered evil animals, which is a shame because we probably could have avoided some very, very horrific periods of plague if people would have just let the cats be cats. So coming back to the Egyptian Mau, I digressed. The Egyptian Mau is probably the oldest of the exotics, and likely modern descendants of the African wildcat. Cool fact, I read somewhere, actually in several somewheres, that the reason they are called Mau in Egyptian is because that's the sound they make. Like their version of meow is meow. So the Egyptian Mau, so cat. There are other domesticated cats that have been bred with wild cats, but they are not included in the BasePaws analysis. And I believe, excluding the Egyptian Mal, there are 7 in total. So it's probably easier at this point for me to kind of go through the description provided by BasePaws and see what matches and doesn't with Ripley's personality. So we're going to skip the Polycat and the Broadly Western because it doesn't really tell us very much. But Maine Coon, according to BasePaws, they are water lovers, they're obedient, they're playful. Okay, she's not a water lover. She doesn't fear water, but she doesn't really seek it out. Like, I let her be curious and sniff stuff. If I open up a crinkly bag of human food, I let her sniff it. Because I feel like if I just pulled away from her, then she's gonna have the curiosity. She'll sniff it and be like, ugh, it's not chicken, and just like walks away. And that's kind of what I do with things like the shower. So again, I take my shower every morning and she's like, oh, what are you doing in this room? And then I like pull the shower curtain back and she's like, ugh. So yeah, but when I do my hair, when I do my makeup in the morning, or ahead of like a stream or before work, she likes to sit up in the countertop and she'll like pat on the sink, and she wants me to turn the warm water on, and I mean perfectly warm water, and she likes to sit and play with it, and she gives herself a little kitty bath, and I feel like we're having just like a girl moment where she's like cleaning her little face and licking her little paws and playing in the water, and I'm, you know, putting my eyelashes on and my eyebrows. So yeah. So one thing I did see in their description, the Maine Coon can be rather vocal, expressing a wide range of complex sounds. Now, I haven't been able to record all of Ripley's different vocalizations, but she has tons of them. And she also is very keenly aware of how she's using them. She kind of has a soft soprano voice, but when she's begging or she's like trying to get away with something, she imitates a human baby coo, and I'm like, oh, you know how to work this. So anyway, but so that's kind of what I fished out, you know, from the Maine Coon. Mostly it's the vocalizations. She is very playful, but as far as Ripley's like everyday voice, I would attribute it to sounding like a teeny tiny drill sergeant with the tenor of Minnie Mouse. So, oh, what's that? Yeah? Are you still sweeties? Am I interrupting your beauty sleep? Oh my goodness. What do you want? You have breakfast. You have fresh water. We played for a while. You can run around downstairs. Dad will be home for a few more hours though. Alright, so let's come on down here to the American Shorthair. They are described as being outgoing, social, and adaptable. Ripley's an incredibly shy cat. Now, she does warm up to people. We have a game night every Saturday night, and she comes down, and it took her about a month and a half for her to finally be like, oh, okay, the guys are here, it's cool. But she accepts pets and treats and stuff, but for the most part, when they're here, she goes upstairs into her second floor hidey, or like goes into our bedroom and just chills out while they're here. So, but she will accept cuddles and treats, of course, but you know, we are all beholden to her. So one thing I also can point out is it says here, though not a typical lap cat, they certainly appreciate a spot next to you on the couch. That is true. She does sometimes, especially when it's cold, she'll come up and like put her legs, like her front paws up on my thigh and kind of ask for like uppies, and I pick her up and I give her a cuddle, whatever. And sometimes she'll come and want to lay on our chest, but for the most part she just wants to be like right next to you, like fill that spot in the couch cushion between our hip and the edge of the cushion. She just wants to be nuzzled in as tight as possible. There's plenty of pictures of Instagram of her sleeping under my armpit, early in the morning. She also likes to sleep on the same pillow as my head to get as close as possible to us, but as far as like coming and sitting on our laps, not as much. And then they also note, while not hunting for insects and other small critters, the American Shorthair is often found spending time lounging in the sun. Yes, when her energy levels are high, she is bouncing off the walls, and yes, she hunts insects to the point of insanity. She also sometimes likes to chase the reflection or the light beams that come off of cars when they pass the house. But when it's time to be snoozy, she is an absolute snoozy bean. She has like a window perch, and she spends quite a bit of time up there. So whatever it takes to be warm, really. So, okay, so she is almost 8% Ragdoll, which are described as calm, docile, and lap cats. Not any of those things. However, they are described additionally as sweet-natured and that they enjoy cuddles. Those things are correct. She is very sweet-natured. She gives lots of nose kisses. She will nuzzle you. She will chin your legs, and yeah, that is it. She definitely is a sweet girl. She's very, very cuddly and very forthcoming with affection. She just may not crawl into your lap to do it. So, they exhibit quirky behavior such as drinking water from the faucet. So, like I said, she does like to get up and play in the sink. And she won't drink tap water in her bowl, but she will drink it if it's from the sink, like actively running. So, there's that. Alrighty, Siberian, 5%. So they're described as being social and playful. Yes, she's playful, not really social. She's a shy girl with strangers. So it is said that they are empathetic cats with a keen sense of emotions of others, eagerly offering their company and support in many situations. So I don't have many situations to offer you, but I can say when I got my treatment for my bad leg, and I get that a few times a year, so she had been living with us for a little while, about 6 weeks, when I got my last round of injections. And I came home from the doctor, and of course, like, I don't feel good after that. But I came home, and she was like immediately attentive, and she kept sniffing my foot, and like she knew something was wrong. She knew something was different. And I'm sure part of it is like the smell of betadine is probably not appealing to a cat. But I kicked my feet up, and I hung out on the couch. And normally she hangs out next to me, she'll hang out in the window above me or below my feet, but this time she actually wedged herself between my ankles, and of course my bad foot, and then she just kept like putting her paw on it, like real gentle. She kept like chinning it and sniffing it and kind of like rubbing her head against it. So she obviously knew something was very wrong with it, that I was injured or didn't feel good. So she was very tender about that. So I obviously don't have a way of really saying what's wrong. She just knows mom has an ouchie, so it was really sweet. All right, so 1.5% Norwegian forest cat. They're described as being social, friendly, and explorer. Again, real shy kitty cat, but she is an explorer. Oh my goodness, she loves a big explorer. They are described as highly intelligent and having a sweet, calm temperament. Well, we've got the highly intelligent and we have the sweet. Definitely not a calm temperament though. She's just like always on the lookout to discover new things, smell new things, knock new things off a shelf, bat them around, and she's always looking for critters to hunt. So I've only seen one spider so far this year, and it makes me wonder if she hasn't had something to do with that. It also says these kitties love to explore, and their strong claws make them an excellent climber. She doesn't climb that much. She kind of will climb up the back of the couch during playtime to like go after a ball or like a teaser toy or something. But she hasn't shown us in the time that she's been with us, and it's been about 3 months, that she's really interested in super high places. She likes, you know, like the dresser is fine, coffee table is fine, coffee bar is fine. Those things are good. And of course she likes being up in the windowsill, but otherwise we have plenty of high bookshelves and shelves with gaming things and whatever. We also have a really tall bookshelf in our bedroom, and it has like plushes on it. She really hasn't gotten up there yet, and maybe she will in the future, but for the most part, I believe Jackson Galaxy describes them as tree dwellers and bush dwellers, and I believe Ripley is a bush dweller. So these kitties love to explore, and they're, definitely an explorer. So yeah, it's always fun because she likes to hide behind like her wheatgrass and attack her toys, like she's stalking them in the wild, and it's like, honey, you're this wide, the wheatgrass is this wide, like what are you doing? So alright, so here we go. Abyssinian, 1%, active, intelligent, mischievous. Okay, we got the active, we got the intelligent, we got the mischievous. Tick, tick, tick. So again, these cats are described as excellent climbers. Not a climber. Hunters and jumpers. Okay, I have seen Ripley do over a 5-foot vertical, chasing after a toy. She also likes to wing Fishy. Some of you might be familiar with the Fishy saga. Fishy is a cuddle toy that she likes to torture mercilessly, and one got lost, and we had to like replace it overnight because she was like completely sullen and unconsolable. It was crazy. So I have seen her throw it in the air as hard as she can and then leap up after it and tackle it. So she is a great jumper. We know she's a fantastic hunter. Her second week with us, she brought me, she found a prize for me, the ooey gooeyest freshly killed moth possible. I didn't even know we had a moth in the house, but she found it and she shoved it under my throw blanket in the living room. And then one night she was like, "Oh, look, mama," and she like crawls under the blanket, and all you see is her little cat butt, and she comes out and she's got this nasty gooey moth hanging from her mouth, and I'm like, thanks, baby. It says here the Abyssinian isn't known for being a lap cat or a cuddler. No, she's not a lap cat, but she is very, very cuddly, and she does like spending time with her favorite people, Mr. B and I being her favorite people. And it does say they may suffer depression without regular attention and affection. If she wakes up and we're not around, she howls for us, like cries for us. So we know that when she gets up and she's like kind of being vulnerable, that she needs all the cuddles and loves possible. Okay, 3% Thai, aka Siamese, are very affectionate and intelligent cats. Tick, tick, we know that. They seek and enjoy the company of humans. It says as well as other cats, and I know from the foster that she preferred to spend her time with a big dog in the house. So she picks her humans, and that's what she wants, and that seems to be very much the same. It says they tend to strongly bond with one person in the family. At first, she definitely bonded to me really fast, and I would say at first that was definitely me, and I attribute that to the fact that the first night she was here, she shoved herself behind the toilet for like 6 hours. So I just laid on the floor, and I sang to her, and I talked to her, and eventually she came out. She didn't eat or drink real good the first night, and I quickly figured out it's because she doesn't like the taste of our tap water, which is fair. It's not the best tasting. I even gave her filtered water, didn't want any parts of that, but I was so worried about her drinking. I kind of tried some like bottled drinking water, and that she likes. So she gets bottled water. She's really that spoiled. And we did find that she just prefers crunchy food. So So I would say at this point, though, she is as bonded to Mr. B as she is to me. That's her play buddy. That's her cuddle buddy. She knows what time he gets up from work, about what time he should be coming home. And right about that time, whatever she's doing, she stops, gets on the edge of the couch where he, like the armrest on the edge of the couch where he sits, and she like gets up and she waits. She just like stares at the steps. She stares at the door. She's like, I'm waiting. So she waits for him, and of course, like, she yells at him. So it says these kitties are very vocal, just like the Maine Coon, and will often demand your attention with a loud, low-pitched, persistent voice, known as the measer. Okay, like I said, she has a huge range of vocalizations. She's very, very chatty, and she definitely has, like, sass mouth. So, but she kind of just like follows us around and yells at us and tells us what to do all day. So, alrighty, at 2% we have the PETERBALD. They are affectionate and peaceful. Well, she's not really a peaceful cat, but she is very affectionate. And apparently they are famous for their dog-like loyalty towards their favorite humans and will often follow you around the house to be near you as much as possible. So true. All day. She's my little shadow. If not me, she's following around Mr. B. She follows us like to the shower. If we're in the shower too long, or she thinks we're in the shower too long, as soon as we open the bathroom door, she's yelling at us. I do sometimes think the reason she yells at us when we come out of the powder room is that's where one of her litter boxes is, and I think she's afraid that we're using her little litter box. I'm like, no, honey, it's all you. I promise. Let's see. And they have an energetic and curious nature. Definitely. Absolutely. Let's see here. So British Shorthair, 5%, another a really big breed. They're known to be laid back, quiet, and patient. She is none of those things. I think she just got the soft fur, and that's about it. But they are known to be sweet-natured and make a great companion. Absolutely. She's very, very sweet. She's very, very snuggly and affectionate. And yeah, she's a great companion. She's my little co-pilot for work and for streaming. So absolutely just an absolute pleasure. So here's the juicy bits. Egyptian Mal, 2%. Very rare exotic cat. Very small percentage of her personality. It says they are water lovers. Again, she's kind of neutral on the water situation. She's okay playing with it. I've seen her put her whole butt in her water dish while eating and not care, but the second, you try to dry it off, then she gets mad because it's your fault her butt's wet. Adventurous, energetic, all of those things. I mean, we can play fetch 4 hours a day and she's still like, and let's play some more. So it says here the Egyptian Mal is an athletic breed that requires an engaging environment. Yeah, she's got puzzle boxes, she's got snuffle mats. We do clicker training with her, and I'm trying to get her trained on a harness so we can get her outside, run off some of that energy. Mals are known as lovers of water. She's not, but they're also playful, vocal, and adventurous. There we go. A third vocal breed in the mix. It explains so much about our sassy little girl. They thrive in active environments that enable them to express their natural hunting instincts. It probably comes from that, wild cat, and we definitely have one of those. And of course, and I will put up a picture of an Egyptian Mal. She kind of looks like one, actually rather much like one, so I don't know. Mostly, as far as the breeds go, mostly Maine Coon, we guess, but she looks like an Egyptian Mal. Who knows? She's mostly just generic, whatever, mixed up cat, but she looks like the exotic one. I don't know. Acts like the exotic one. So yeah. But does the breed stuff really mean anything? I don't know. I mean, are we held to our genetics for our personalities, our likes and interests? I don't know. I feel like this gets a little bit too much into the, nature versus nurture thing. The two kind of work together. So all this being said, at the very end of the day, it really doesn't matter what breed Ripley is. She's a happy, healthy, sweet little kitty, I'm so glad we could give her a home where she is adored and doted on day in and day out. You know, a domestic cat can live 15 to 20 years, and we really hope to give her the best 15 to 20 years and hopefully beyond possible. So if you are thinking about getting a cat, please consider adopting. There are millions, and I do mean millions, of kitties waiting for their forever homes, and they are just as interesting as our fuzzy little enigma. So I guess that's all, guys. Check her out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Ripley the Cat 426. Yes, just like LB426 the planet. Yeah, and I'll put some links and some resources down below for you guys to check out. But if you are in Central or the North Bay area here in California, do consider checking out CCA. It was really just wonderful what they do for their kitty cats, and getting such a healthy, happy, confident little kitten from them tells me everything I need to know about them and the fosters that they work with. So, alrighty guys, well, until next time, take care and happy sipping. Love you.